Hi, everyone. So I want to talk about something that I briefly touched on in one of my Facebook Live sessions with someone writing in about soul contracts and family legacies. So an example she gave was 3 generations of men in the family all dying young of heart attacks. An example I could give you personally was an energy healer picking up on 4 generations back off my dad's side of depression and the will to die energy that was in my system, not consciously, but on a soul level. And so there's always lessons in these, and it's not a coincidence when you start seeing these patterns playing out. So why you would choose to be born into a legacy with whatever that pattern is or similar soul contracts that you're observing, it will differ for each person. In some cases, it's simply an opportunity for us to recognize a negative pattern. And then knowing what we don't want, we fall into, well, we are inspired basically to do whatever it takes to do the opposite and not go down that same road. So if you're witnessing these 3 generations of men before you, all dying young of heart attacks, you can look at that and see that there's dis-ease, lodged in the heart chakra, trapped emotion. And that would be a cue for us to really work on mind, body, spirit levels, healing that and getting ahead of it to prevent it. So that would be opening up emotionally, right? Better self-care, better diet, exercise, doing everything you can to avoid going down that same road. Sometimes it's simply learned behavior that on some level of our being we feel gives us permission to follow in those same footsteps. We see this as an option on some level, and when it's really just intended to wake us up and remind us that there's another way, there's a better way for us to go. We oftentimes see this with suicide. I definitely saw it in my family with my grandmother and then, my father. It never even crossed our consciousness until, this started happening. Or we hold a subconscious belief or a fear within us that it will happen to us. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So what you repeatedly think about, you attract or you create. We are that powerful. I had a client recently who was worrying about getting cancer because 3 generations of women before her all had breast cancer. And it came through right away that this was not supposed to be her fate. It was not her destined path. So to stop worrying about it. And every time a mind thought, a worry came up, to cancel it out with something, opposite, like I am healthy, I am well. Okay? So whatever the case, we can see it as this opportunity to take our power back. And rather than living in fear that it's going to happen to us or our kids or other loved ones around us, we can rewrite that script. And that's why we're co-creators. Nothing is set in stone. And sometimes just knowing what that darkness looks or feels like, it allows us to appreciate what, choosing to live in light and joy and love and trust, is. So out of that contrast is born the inspiration to choose a different way, a different path that we want to go down. If this is resonating with you right now, maybe it's come up in your life or you've witnessed it, then just simply, see that it comes down to one thing, and that is doing the work to reroute, right? It's you remembering your power as a co-creator to change the end of the story. What it comes to is breaking karmic agreements, okay? Whether it's conscious or unconscious, this life or past lives. There's different ways to do this. For me, I've worked with energy healers who, have helped me do certain techniques to break those agreements. I have one healer who does muscle testing, and she uses a magnet to kind of release the trapped emotion and then reprogram my subconscious mind back to a place of wholeness and faith. Sometimes it's simply affirmations on your own, just listening and reprogramming that tape in your head. Sometimes it's prayer meditation. It's as simple as talking it out and then meditating on your desired outcome. So anything, and then sometimes it's diet, exercise. You'll know what it is for you, but you have to really just check in with yourself and ask on a mind, body, spirit level, what is the work that I need to do to move in a more desirable direction? So just remember, again, we are co-creators in this life. Our future is not set in stone. I have to remind people of that often. We have the power to choose each and every day what we want our life experience to be. That's one of the beauties of free will. So while we can't change certain lessons that are bound to come up for us because, they're intended along our path to help us learn and grow, we do have a say in how we choose to respond to what shows up, right? So you can choose to see through a lens of fear, or you can choose to see through a lens of faith and love. And when you choose from love, the universe organically guides you in the direction that's highest and best for you to fulfill the lessons you came here to learn. I hope that's been inspiring, and I hope that you, when that comes up for you, that you put it to the test. As always, wishing you brightest blessings and all love.